the fourth day of Christmas, Crystal's holiday baking gave to me Grandma's gingerbread crinkle cookies. Welcome back to For Love of the Mouse, everybody. I'm Crystal, and we are on day 4 of 12 days of holiday baking. I'm so excited that you are here today. If you are new to our channel, please make sure that you click that subscribe button, click that like button if you like what we're doing, and that bell notification so that you can be notified every time we release a video. So like I said, today is Grandma's crinkle cookies, and these are gingerbread crinkle cookies. These are direct from Grandma's recipe box, and so of course that means we gotta have Grandma's apron on today. And these cookies are super simple, super delicious. There is nothing more Christmas, in my opinion and in my family, than gingerbread. These are the epitome of holiday flavors. My grandma would make dozens and dozens of them. She would make so much dough days in advance and would keep it in her refrigerator. And then we would have a holiday baking day, and my cousin and my mom and my aunt and me would all go over and we would just bake all day long. It was so much fun. So Christmas to me, and baking at Christmas to me, is so special because it really brings Grandma back into my kitchen and takes me back to those amazing holiday memories, which of course is what Christmas is all about. I would love to hear in the comments what some of your favorite holiday memories are and traditions that you keep going even though loved ones have maybe moved on. These gingerbread cookies are a little bit different than my grandmother's typical gingerbread recipe, and I don't know where she got this recipe from, but they have a little bit of a different spice blend, and we have an option for you as well because I leave, and my grandma always left and always made a little note next to her recipes. She always left the nutmeg off of the cookies because my mom is allergic to tree nuts, and I don't actually think that there are nuts in nutmeg. I've spoken to a number of chefs about this over the years because whenever we go anywhere, I always am extra careful, and my mom is as well, and they actually always say that there's no actual nuts in nutmeg, but I think it freaks her out because of the name, so my grandma always left it out. But I will give you an option to make sure to add the nutmeg if that is something that you want to do. So I've got my mixer here, I'm gonna put my apron on, and we're gonna get to baking. So I know with the holidays this year, people were putting up Christmas decorations early, and I would love to know if you were one of those. We actually did as well. So every year, I always put our decorations up on Black Friday. And it is something I've done as far back as I can remember. Even in my young adult life, when I was living on my own, I always did that. And I would open a bottle of Prosecco and I would just decorate all day and listen to Trans-Siberian Orchestra and watch Christmas movies. And it's just something I really enjoy doing. But this year we just needed a little extra cheer, and so I decided to do it early. We did ours a couple weeks early, and I have no regrets. And I'm one of those people too, I believe you can wholeheartedly celebrate Thanksgiving while also celebrating Christmas. You can decorate for Christmas and still be thankful. So what I'm doing is I am going to put 3/4 of a cup of softened butter. I always bake with unsalted butter. I never bake with salted butter. It is something that my grandma always did, my mom always did, and it's typically what bakers do as well. You want to add the salt yourself. You don't want to start with something that might be a little too salty. So I have 3/4 of a cup of butter that is softened. That's another tip. You always want to use, whenever possible, softened butter and like room temperature ingredients. So if it's an ingredient that comes from the refrigerator or the freezer, you always want to make sure that when you're baking, you're using that ingredient at room temperature instead of cold, unless it specifies. So there are certain things like croissants, and if you're making homemade croissants, which I have done and they are amazing, let me know in the comments if that would be something you would be interested in, because those were really fun to do, but they were also very time consuming. It's I think it was a 48 or a 72 hour process, but they turned out amazing. I made them for Friendsmas last year. So I added a 1/4 cup of packed brown sugar. I use dark brown sugar. I almost always use dark brown sugar, but you can use whatever you have on hand. And we're going to cream this together until it's smooth and fluffy. We beat that together until it was fluffy. It took about 3 to 4 minutes, and I stopped the mixer and scraped it down with a spatula twice so that it makes sure to get everything incorporated. Next, we're going to go in with our spices. and our vanilla. So we're going to first add, well, I guess baking soda isn't a spice, but it's necessary. So first we're going to add 2 teaspoons of baking soda. And then we're going to go in with a teaspoon each of clove, ginger, and cinnamon. Now this is the point where if you want to go in and use nutmeg instead of the clove, this is where you would want to do that. Or you could add nutmeg and clove, and I would just go in with about a half a teaspoon of each. And then last but not least, our cinnamon, I'm just going to eyeball it. And then we're going to also add a pinch of salt and some vanilla. I just use a splash of vanilla, probably about a teaspoon and a half. So we're just going to mix that up and then move on. Next up, we're going to go add our 1 egg. If you're not comfortable breaking it directly into the mixing bowl, just break it into a separate bowl. And then we have our molasses. I don't use molasses any other time of the year really, except for the holidays, but it's such a staple at the holidays. You want to get all that sticky goodness in there. You have to be patient with molasses. Didn't get the term slow as molasses for nothing. Now I'm going to put this directly into my sink so it doesn't make a mess. Let's mix that together. Now you just want to mix it until it's just combined, and then we're going to add our flour. So for our flour, we're going to add 2.5 cups of flour. I'm going to add them a half of a cup at a time, simply to not make a mess. This is one recipe that I'm not sifting, but I do highly recommend you sift your flour. It just makes for a better baked good, but I accidentally got my sifter wet, and that's not going to work out very well. So I'm not sifting, but I recommend you do. Gingerbread dough is a really thick dough. It's a really heavy, dense dough, so your mixer might struggle a little bit, but it will definitely get the job done. Now you don't want to overmix this. You want to mix it until it's just combined, all pulled together. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pull it out, we're going to saran wrap it, and we're going to refrigerate it for 2 hours. I'll see you guys in 2 hours. And through the magic of YouTube, we are back. It has been 2 hours. We have our chilled dough right here. It smells exactly like Christmas. We also have what we're going to roll these crinkle cookies in so that they would become snowy and wintry and crinkly, and that is our powdered sugar. So I have 2 cups of powdered sugar here. We may need to add a little more. We may have too much. It kind of depends. What you really want to do with these is coat your cookies. So we are going to use a cookie scoop. I have a small cookie scoop here. You can use a bigger one if you like. I also have my cookie sheets here with my Silpat mats, and I also spray them. You don't have to spray your Silpat mats. I just like to do it. So I'm going to get started with our little assembly line. We're going to take a roll of the dough, and then you're going to also roll it in your hands because you want it to form a ball. The whole reason we're using the cookie scoop in this is so that they're uniform. So they're uniform size, they're uniform shape. And then we are going to coat, and you really want to make sure you get powdered sugar everywhere. And then it looks like a little snowball when it goes on to the mat. So we're going to continue to move forward with this until we're completely finished. We have 2 cookie sheets filled with our cookies that are ready to go into the oven, and we still have a little bit of batter to go, so we'll probably do a 3rd cookie sheet after these come out. But these are going to go into a 350-degree oven for 8 to 10 minutes. We have our beautiful cookies out of the oven. These are delicious looking. We'll post a picture so you can see an up-close version. But these look delicious. They smell delicious. They look like holidays. They look like winter, and they would be the perfect addition to any cookie weekend, cookie day, or cookie hour that you're taking part of. This is day 4 of 12 days of holiday baking. We are so excited that you are here with us today with another one of my grandmother's recipes. I have her apron, and I have her recipe box, and I have yet another delicious recipe of hers that I am so excited to share with you. I would love to know in the comments what some of your favorite holiday cookies are and some of your favorite holiday traditions. Be sure that you stick around because we have so many more amazing recipes coming your way. If you're new around here, please make sure you click that subscribe button, click that like button if you like what we're doing, and that bell notification so that you can be notified every time we release a video. Also, be sure to head over to our Etsy shop, which is linked below, so that you can check out our holiday line, which has already launched and is super cute if I do say so myself. Happy holidays, everyone, from our family to yours. We will see you on the next video. Thank you so much for stopping by, and for the love of the mouse, never forget that it all started with a mouse.